I was going to go to my appointment, but I'll do another video because I just saw being peak hour just what the price was for Uber. So no, I might wait till tomorrow morning when it's cheaper. Same, I just want to get bloods done, bloods and urine, so it's not going to make any difference. It's basically I asked my doctor always to do toxicology reports. Oh yeah, not mentally retarded. That's what I was going with the last video, and because I forgot, basically I'm gonna finish that now. Oh, fucking losers! Seriously, some fucking dickhead. Like it was all Tamworth losers. I even had some absolute piece of shit Deb Mears. Like fuck off back to Tamworth, you loser. Some fucking Michael Long and Deb Mears. It's like who involved you? Like, and it sounds like you guys know my stepbrother and my stepfather, so Daniel and Mark Rackley. Although, legit, I'm playing a prank on this fucking loser Deb Mears like you wouldn't believe. So she's like, "Oh, this is hilarious." At the hub on William Street in 2017, I did it deliberately. I thought, no, fuck you, you little Tamworth piece of shit. You think you can break privacy laws in my life? Like my mother moved there with a second husband. Nothing to do with me. I can't stand the wankers. So anyway, I the biggest fuck. I swear she must know Shane Childs because she started telling me information. I'm like, wow, that sounds like Shane Childs and his ex partner Sally. Literally, I'm there going, oh my god. But she was from Marriott Street, Tamworth, so I just wanted to play a prank on her. Her Divya Darling, oh my god, Michael Long, this fucking loser. He tells me in the first meeting that he's a reformed alcoholic. I'm like, nothing reformed about it. So I'm putting roast bean in a red wine glass and playing pranks on the loser. Well, as soon as I found out it's from Tamworth, I'm like, fuck off. Fucking piece of scummy shit from where my stepfather lived. Oh, fuck off. So I was playing little pranks on the loser. I thought, I'm not living next to these cunts of people. I made that clear. It's like, nah. Giovanni's like, what? I'm like, he's from fucking Tamworth, where my stepfather's from. I'm like, no thanks. Like, don't want to live near these scummy cunts of people. Thanks very much. So anyway, Deb Mears. Oh, we can cure PTSD. I'm like, oh, do I have that? Okay. So this little sort of bullshit thing. Oh fuck, this is brilliant. So Divya Darling, she calls herself, is wearing a dress made of ties. I kid you not. Um, and this fucking loser Deb Beers. So that doesn't matter. I've got a good memory. I know exactly even what she was wearing. So I'm sitting there and it's like, oh, what was it? It was an acting stunt I did. Oh, Amanda, because I it was all acting. The whole thing was acting. And Dave's like, anchor. It's like, okay. Fucking fake. The whole thing in 2017 was fake. Whole thing. What, you think you're entitled to break laws into my life? I'm just gonna make a fool out of you. Make a fool out of that idiot Deb that does some life coaching bullshit in Tamworth. Country losers. Seriously, at one stage I'm sitting back going, oh fuck, don't tell me it's got that Melterberry. Like I seriously I turned seriously. No offense to Kathy Tabiri, because I do like Kath. But yeah, look, my mother didn't have to marry somebody to make like to get the property that she has. She worked for it as a paralegal. And my dad was a builder. And I'm looking at Melterberry going, yeah, well you were dragged up in Vegemite Village, weren't you? And as soon as I was like, oh god, she knows Christy Childs. As soon as I was like, oh god. Look, for me, anybody who's friends with Christy Childs, I'm like, yeah, I look at him like, you're not quality of a person at all. Like if you, like seriously, I only have to speak to her because we're related on my mother's side. But seriously, if I wasn't related to her, I would walk past the scrubber. Like I literally would walk past the scrubber like I do the people here, and can't hide my facial expression sometimes. It's just like, ugh, fucking gross. Because they are. Mum's sister and her children just disgusting. It's like, ugh, foul. Seriously. Like, honest to God, what I've said over the years is true. What Pop said in the year 2000, true. What Nan said when she used to snigger, and we were there getting ready for Christmas, and Nan's like, don't worry, you and Amanda have the bedrooms. It's like, why do they have to be here? Like, Shane and Christy don't want to be here, so why do they have to be here? And it's like, it's just to keep the peace. Don't worry, I'm going to put him in the shed. Fuck, I can't help. Every time, because I think of what Nan used to say. And Nan was laughing about it. She hated them. She hated Shane and Christy Childs with a passion. And absolutely hated them. Pop would be part of the sniggering. They used to, it was like me and Amanda or myself hanging around like in the kitchen with Nan and Pop, and they both used to snigger like, don't worry, you and your sister can have the bedrooms, but we're going to give them the shed. And they even Pop with his little whistle for his tooth would be sniggering about putting Robin and her kids in the shed because they're scum. They've always been scum. They're just trashy scum people. We had to put up with them. That's it. Nan's dead, we don't have to put up with them. Like anyone I look at and go, oh, you know Christy Childs? Okay. Yeah, man. Run along. Seriously. We only have to talk to her because we're related to her. But you make a judgment choice to be friends with someone like that? Okay. I wouldn't. I'm just related to her. I wouldn't be friends with her. So then if you're friends with a character person like that, then you're not much, like, that's what I feel about Mel Tiberius. Like, yeah, you're not really a good judge of character. So, maybe my cousins on dad's side think that about me. Maybe that's why Meredith, my cousin, who actually was the luckiest one out of all of the cousins, and I say this because my grandmother, Ruby Jean Hill, Ruby Fleming, she got, well, my grandmother had the most amazing figure. Like, I wish I had a calf. I wish I had my grandmother's calf muscles. She had gorgeous legs. I love my grandmother Ruby. That's her cup, by the way. This is my grandmother's cup that Aunt Linda gave me. So I use this coffee cup. Yeah. Anyway, and my grandfather had dark olive skin. So Stanley Fleming had dark olive skin, and my grandmother had blue eyes, beautiful blue eyes. So one of the cousins in the family, on my dad's side, who looks Northern Italian to look at, she got the dark skin, grandmother's figure, and my grandmother's eyes. It's like, you can go, you must have never had any problems in your entire life, because she got the best genetics of both. And I was saying this to my cousin Fiona, actually, funny enough. And Fiona's like, yeah, and the rest of us got white, like Fiona, Joan, and Jeffrey got white pasty skin. They look like Germans. Tall German. Honestly, God, they look like tall blonde Germans. Seriously, like the look at them, like Jeffrey. Well, Jeffrey looks Jewish. Jeffrey and Joan, Joan Hillier, both do. But yeah, it's like, but then Meredith, I'm like, oh, you're lucky, Meredith. Anyway, what I was getting to with that sort of story, I'll upload this as well. Maybe Meredith thinks that about me. I'm just the poor cousin. I'm a bit uncouth. I'm not as up to her, Shell Harbour quality. I'll tell you, if I had the money one of these days, I'll move to Shell Harbour where my cousins are, just to piss them off. I'll go down to Shell Harbour and live with my dad's side. See if might piss them off. Because at this stage, it's just a poor cousin that lives in the city. Anyway. All right, that's just enough joking around. But yeah, no. Let's, again, try to see if I can get into disappointment. Oh, and now it is all started. Yeah, dickheads from fucking Tamworth. Oh, man. Even in America, literally I'm walking past losers from Tamworth. It's like, oh, Jesus fucking Christ. But I was briefly there for 6 years. What are you guys up to? Like, if you're really going to be part of my life, then why didn't you contact me? Like, okay, the only person that I will say this, when Amanda was at Armidale University, by the way, Jeffrey Williams, my cousin, was at Armidale University around the same time. So he, like a lot of Sydney people go up there. My cousin from Sydney went there for his studies. And his sister, Joan Hillier, my other cousin, she was actually a lecturer at Sydney University. Anyway, man is at Armidale University. And I was up there in Armidale, and what was it? Rebecca Munro, Gemma Bartlett, and Rochelle, I think it was. So these are people I actually used to like from high school, like friends of them. They caught up with me. I was in just briefly. I was only briefly there, and they actually were like, "Oh, because I moved back from Sydney." And they're like, "Oh, you're up here from Sydney?" Because they knew I went to Sydney after year 10, and I went back up to New England for a modelling competition. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm here." They're like, "Oh, come visit." So it was. I'm sure it was Rochelle. And I said, like, there's people that I was like, so why didn't like people that actually liked and was friends with you in high school? I was like, well, mate, you've had years to contact me. Like, just contact me, don't stalk me. Say, oh, Justin Fleming, whatever. I was in your drama class, art class, whatever. Like, it was Rebecca Munro. I'm sure it was Gemma Bartlett, which was Ainsley Bartlett's twin sister, and Rochelle. Rochelle. Oh, hang on a minute. Wait a minute. Why I'm doing this, I'll tell you what. Let's see how good I am with keeping documents. Stuff that I would have. Watch this. Alright. Because I'm a stickler of keeping documents, I bet you I have a document. I love doing these videos. Absolutely love it because it puts it out there. It puts it out there on public forums. But I may have kept a document that Rochelle actually wrote out for me in drama class going back to 1994. I kid you not. Hang on. I may have. I am a stickler of keeping sentimental things. Hang on. Might have to put this down to find it. 1 second. You're not gonna. Okay, I'm gonna sit down and do this. Continue with the video. But Rochelle from high school, I kid you not, I've actually still got it. There you go. So if I was so upset with people from high school, why do they keep something that was sentimental? So Rochelle, we used to have these conversations in drama class. Where's the document? Before everything goes flying everywhere. And she was telling me one day about her auntie being what she called a white witch. And this warrior's quote. Here we go. That's in her handwriting. So this right here, this sort of poem thing, I've got my glasses on, read it. It's actually really nice. It's written. This is handwritten out by Rochelle. So yeah, like this is the shit that I've been going for in the last 10 years. I'm like, you're making up stories about my high school, and I actually liked people in my high school and got along with a lot of people. I said, I just went back home to Sydney. And because I wasn't actually from the area and I didn't live in the area that long, I didn't keep in touch. But they could have kept in touch with me as well. Goes both ways. So anyway, it's called, this is it here, A Warrior's Creed. That's actually Rochelle's handwriting. She wrote it out for me because I liked the poem that it was actually, that this is hers. And she said it's actually from her auntie. And her auntie was a white witch. And she goes, it's something about, actually I think it's something about grounding or something. I don't know, but I'll read it for this video and then I'm going to upload this video because I actually thought this was really nice. And that just shows, so I do have a bit of sentimental value in me. This, now, high school was a very long time ago. I mean, I left high school, 30 odd years ago. So that's it here. So look, it says, actually I won't read it all, you can see there. I have no parents, I make the heavens and earths my parents. I have no home, I make awareness my home. I have no life or death, I make the tides of breathing my life and death. Now, she actually did this as a monologue as well. And I was like, that's really beautiful. And she goes, it's actually called A Warrior's Creed. And she got it from her auntie, who was a white witch, she said. So that's really sweet. And she wrote this out for me. That's in her handwriting in drama class. Maybe the guy wasn't the only person she would have written out for us. Well, I'm sure other people asked for a copy as well of what a warrior's creed was. And she explained to me about how her auntie was a white witch. I think part of New England area where she was and was more into that side of thing with religion. So pagan and things like pagan, which was really beautiful. And anyway, it goes on to say, I have no divine power. I make honesty my divine power. I have no means. I make understanding my means. I have no magic secrets. I make character my magic secret. I have no body. I make endurance my body. I have no eyes. I make the flash of light in my eyes. I have no ears. I make sensibility my ears. I have no limbs. I make promptness my limbs. I have no strategy. I make unshadowed by thought my strategy. I have no design. I make seizing opportunity by the forelock my design. I have no miracles. I make right action my miracle. I have no principles. I make adaptability my principle. I make adaptability to all circumstances my principle. I have no talent. I make ready wit my talent. I have no friends. I make my mind my friend. I have no enemy. I make carelessness my enemy. I have no armor. I make what is it? Righteousness my armor. I have no castle. I make my mind my castle. It's right her right in here. I have no sword. I can get my glasses redone. I have no sword. I make absent of self my sword. It says here by Anonymous. By Anonymous 14th century. So wherever she got this from, it's some script. She's put it here. It says by Anonymous 14th century. With melting wax and loosened strings, shrink helpless, Ericus, born on faithful wings. So it is actually quite really lovely. This is in drama class. So yeah, funny how I just hang on to certain things that, I actually are like, I just thought that was a beautiful sort of, what do you call those things? Like when you have those days you wake up like a meme, like what do you call it? Like, I can't think of the word right now. You get up and seize the day type attitude. It's like, oh, that's a really nice get up and seize the day type, attitude to have. Yeah, there you go. 30 years I've had that piece over before. Mind you, since then I've also added other things to it and so forth. I've got my own, actually. No, I was going to stop this video here, but I'm going to find something I actually wrote. See, I love doing these videos. I used to have a studio set up in the spare room that was a art studio, design studio. I had my camera set up with videos that I could actually do. So it was actually, oh God. I'm still recording. Okay. I can't put it back on the stand. So basically I had this all set up so I could actually record, do things. I was going to do all these had all these great sort of things of doing podcasts and stuff, anyway, it didn't work out that way because I moved from Rushcliffe's Bay where I was already set up, and I've actually just turned a page of some of my old documents where this is stored into. And when I was talking about it in 1997 when I did design fundamentals, my God, things look clearer with my glasses on. Freaking heck, I can't believe that I walk around all day squinting my eyes because I can't fucking see. I kid you not. Jesus Christ. Anyway, Kabbalah. So back in 1997, I had to learn aspects of Kabbalah, and that was actually to do with design. I've actually got the brief still. Kid you not. So I've got all my design. Oh God, stuff's going to get blown everywhere here as well. To do with that, I like anything to do with my studies. I keep because I can always refer back to it and reuse it. Let's go. Like there's a lot of stuff to do with my studies. And actually, there's a lot of stuff in here to do with my studies. I might actually have found some missing documents in here that I was looking for. Justin Fleming Part C. I've got stuff here to do with English. I can't believe this. I've actually got English class stuff here. Wow. Anyway. Okay. But yeah, look, I'm not going to go through this now. I would have, if I actually decide to look through this, I should have a poem that I wrote in 19 1996. And basically in 1996, when I was travelling from Gosford to Newcastle, so I was going from Gosford train station to Civic train station. I don't think Civic exists anymore, does it? Anyway, and I used to read, before these blow it, I used to read a book on the train. Let me get it. And this book was one of my inspirations. I adored the guy, Joey Stefano. So it was also an easy read, basically. But it talked about Nick Iacona Jr., the porno star called Joey Stefano. And I think he was about 24 when he passed away. It talks about his life. So when I was catching the train, so talked about his life and what he went through and how his father kicked him out when he was young for being a homosexual, how he got into the porno industry, how was it, oh God, what's her name? That drag queen raised him. There is. I've actually I've got to find somewhere. I have one of his original pornos, which I want to get framed. Absolute legend, this guy, Joey Stefano. So I used to read. Oh, page is torn out. I used to read this on the train, and I should read it again, actually. Basically, here we go. That's where it was purchased from. Yep. So I used to actually read this on the train, and I wrote a poem based on what I interpreted his life from reading the book. And that was in 1996. So, because the train ride was so long back then, like going from Gosford to Civic Station, so I just read. I think that's actually where I started really getting into books. It's funny, I think my mum used to always say that to me, because she used to always read a book, travel on the train into the city from the suburbs. And that's probably where I started getting into really focusing on reading, because there was no phones. There was nothing else to do for that long train ride from Gosford to Civic Station in Newcastle. And I started reading. Actually, I think it might have been the first time I really started enjoying books, because I never really did as a youngster. Yeah, probably, to be honest. Yeah, probably was, to be honest, because it's sitting on the train. It's like, what the hell are you going to do for like 2 hours a day? And I was reading. And then I was sitting there, I started writing a poem. I'll have it somewhere. And it's based on Joey Stefano. And it was based, but it's not him, it's not me, it's me interpreting what I was reading. And it says, because I started writing this poem, and I was actually sitting at the back end of the train, facing the opposite direction. And it was those old freaking horrible plastic type seats, the rattlers. The windows opened. Like the windows, like you could literally open, you could hear the sound and noise. And I actually wrote, scribbling down, still got it somewhere, while the train was rattling around everywhere. And it said, he sits facing the back end of the train. Life passes before his eyes. And it starts off like that, because I'm talking about myself. And then I start going into Joey Stefano, talking about his life and what I felt his life was. And I'll have to find it, and I might actually upload that. So I've always been really arty like that. So everything to me is based on art, photography, design, theatre, film, television, media. It's always being creative. And when I don't have my creative space, boy, do I get the shits. Like, even my mum was like, oh yeah, don't, you move something, you'll be like, oh, the world's going to end. Like, he's had that easel set up there for a week, and, it's like, he'll lose his inspiration. Don't touch it. He'll lose his inspiration. Okay, he's working on something. Leave him alone. Like, I used to come home from school and be going down the shed and restoring furniture and doing stuff like I did. I was always something. There was always more than one project going at a time too. It's like, are you gonna finish that before you start that? I'm like, no, because why that's drying, or why I'm doing that, I can go over there and be doing that. That's how it was. But yeah, so no, I don't. Look, all anyone has to do is ask me in the last teams. I'm going to stop the video there because these are getting long and they were meant to be short little spurts of posts. That's just me explaining myself, you know. Creative, artistic, you know, not job of an artist, basically.